Over the course of centuries, Dutch colonizers brought all of Indonesia under one government, known as the Dutch East Indies. But when the Netherlands was occupied by Germany, an Indonesian statesman took his chance. In 1945, he declared independence of the Republic of Indonesia. It would take another 10 years for Indonesia's tumultuous road to independence to end in victory. In 1927, Sukarno established the Indonesian National Party with friends from college. They advocated independence and were against imperialism and capitalism. Two years after the Netherlands was invaded by Germany, the Dutch East Indies came under attack by the Japanese. It took them less than 3 months to overrun the entire colony. At first, they were welcomed as liberators, but that sentiment wouldn't last. Japan recruited forced laborers, and under their watch, hunger was widespread. This killed over 4 million people under Japanese watch. But the Japanese also trained, armed, and educated Indonesian nationalists, and this set the stage for Indonesia's struggle for independence. On August 17, 1945, Ahmed Sukarno and Muhammad Hatta proclaimed independence from the Netherlands, and they established the Republic of Indonesia. The Japanese surrendered a month later, and the island nation was up for grabs. The Allied forces deployed 1,000 British soldiers to maintain order on the island of Java. A month later, the Dutch sent in troops and announced that they would not negotiate with the independence leaders, but instead they offered them autonomy within the Kingdom of the Netherlands. This was unacceptable to Sukarno and Hatta, and a day later they declared war. On October 13, 1945, the war started. 1 year and 1 day later, all parties agreed to a ceasefire. 10,000 people were killed during this conflict, and over 200,000 were displaced. In the first peace talks, the British agreed to withdraw its troops, and this was completed a few months later. The Dutch, however, did not bend. The conflict heated up again in the first months of 1947, when Dutch government troops broke the ceasefire in Sumatra, and fighting intensified. This lasted from December to March, and during this period 5,000 people were killed. The Netherlands, still recovering from World War II, was weakened and partly therefore showed a willingness to negotiate. The Dutch and the Indonesians negotiated for nearly 14 months, and their peace talks culminated towards the end of 1946. Leaders from the Netherlands and the Republic of Indonesia then finally reached a landmark agreement. Both parties agreed to recognize the Republic of Indonesia, the states of Borneo, and the state of East Indonesia. The status of New Guinea was still undecided, and the status of several islands was controversial. The United Nations formed a new council in January 1949. They mediated negotiations in The Hague, and later that same year, on December 27, 1949, Indonesia finally gained its independence.
Nomor digit terakhir 7. Sekarang Taruna Binalega Durenombo. Kalian luar biasa, sudah mau meluangkan waktu, tenaga dan pikiran dengan lancar dari awal sampai akhir. Semoga teman-teman kita bisa buat acara yang lebih meriah lagi. Baik. Udah